Today, we're diving into one of the darkest police betrayal stories in American history, a case where the person sworn to protect the public became a predator. This is the disturbing story of Antoinette Frank, the New Orleans police officer who used her badge to commit one of the most shocking triple murders the city has ever seen. Antoinette Frank joined the New Orleans Police Department in 1992. On the surface, she appeared quiet, disciplined, and eager to prove herself. But behind the uniform, there were serious warning signs. She had failed multiple psychological evaluations. Supervisors questioned her emotional stability. Co-workers said she was unpredictable, overly emotional, and sometimes detached from reality. But because the department was desperate for officers at the time, Antoinette Frank was approved, given a badge, and given power. Power she would soon abuse in the worst way imaginable. During patrol, Frank often visited a small Vietnamese restaurant called Coman. She quickly became close to the owners, the Vu family, who treated her kindly and welcomed her as if she were part of the family. But Antoinette didn't come alone. She was secretly involved with Rogers Lacazette, a 17-year-old drug dealer. She brought him into the restaurant too, and eventually things started disappearing. Money went missing. Customers complained about harassment. Staff began to fear her presence. The Vu family grew suspicious, and one employee even told police, "I don't trust Officer Frank. There is something wrong with her." They had no idea how right they were. At one point, Frank used her authority as a police officer to remove a restraining order placed against Lacaze. Another time, she allegedly stole money from the Coman register. When the Vu family complained, Frank became cold, distant, and threatening. The restaurant eventually banned Lacaze, and Frank took it personally. For her, this wasn't just a restaurant anymore. It was a place she believed owed her something, a place she wanted control over. And that resentment would explode in March of 1995. On the night of March 4th, 1995, the Kim An restaurant was preparing to close. Inside were Ha Vu, just 17 years old, Quang Vu, 21, and New Orleans police officer Ronald Williams, who was working a security shift. Just before 2 a.m., Antoinette Frank arrived. But this wasn't a friendly visit, and it wasn't a police check-in. It was a setup. She unlocked the door using her police access, and behind her walked in Rogers Lacazette, armed with a 9mm handgun. The moment they stepped inside, gunfire erupted. Officer Ronald Williams was shot repeatedly and killed instantly. Ha Vu tried to hide, but was found and executed. Quang Vu ran toward the freezer, but was chased down and shot inside. The murders were cold, precise, and executed by someone the family had trusted as a friend. But Frank made one mistake. She didn't know there was a survivor. Cho Vu, one of the owner's sons, had been hiding under a table during the attack. He watched the entire scene unfold. He saw Antoinette Frank, still in full police uniform, walking calmly inside the restaurant after the murders. Cho escaped through a side door and ran for his life to a nearby police station, yelling, "It was a police officer. It was the lady cop. Antoinette Frank killed my family." He recognized her instantly. She had been in the restaurant almost every night. His testimony would become the key to solving the case. When questioned by investigators, Frank tried to act confused and emotional. She claimed she had simply stopped by after hearing about the shooting, pretending she didn't know who the killer was. But detectives quickly noticed inconsistencies. Her story didn't match the physical evidence. Security logs didn't support her timeline. Shell casings, witness statements, and the survivor's direct account all pointed to Antoinette Frank as the ringleader. She was arrested within hours, and Lacazette was arrested shortly after. At trial, prosecutors argued that Frank planned the entire attack. She was under financial stress, owing money, and saw the restaurant as easy cash. She used her badge to enter the building, used her authority to intimidate the victims, and believed she could walk away with both the money and her reputation intact. The jury listened to Cho Vu's emotional testimony, examined photos from the crime scene, and reviewed months of evidence. In the end, both Frank and Lacaze were convicted of first-degree murder. Lacaze received a life sentence, while Antoinette Frank was sentenced to death, becoming one of the few women on Louisiana's death row. But the evidence, the testimony, and the survivor's account all say otherwise. Today, Antoinette Frank remains on death row, and her story stands as a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest danger can come from those wearing the badge. If you want more chilling true crime stories like this one, subscribe to the Cold Case Vault for more dark mysteries, cold cases, and deep dive investigations.